we can kind of transition to work advice. Now, the context for this obviously is so you want to become an EMT. All right. Well, this is stuff that you can practice at whatever your job is now. You don't have to wait until you're an EMT to do this. But this is some basic advice that will help you when you get to working on the truck. So the first one that I would say is be consistent. One thing that I have especially found over the years is if you're consistent when you show up for work. And now you may not be able to come super early. There was a long stretch of my career where I would show up, God, 45 minutes early a lot of times, which I didn't mind because a lot of times the crew was like, "Oh, cool, you're here. I'm going to leave, so I got extra pay." And they were always happy to see me because they knew they were going to get off on time.
No, hopefully no late calls. Yeah.
Yeah. Now, I'm not saying everybody needs to do that. I don't do that anymore. I'm usually, 20 to 30 minutes early. I know. Well, it kind of broke me where we had one of the jobs I was at after the job where I would show up 45 minutes early. They had a logistics time. So they actually had set aside time at the end of the shift that the crew would go out of service and come back and prep for shift change. So there was no need for me to do it because they were safe unless they got like a cardiac arrest or something like that.
Yeah,
So
one of the critical like priority ones. Yeah.
yeah. So I got out of the habit then, and now I have a fairly consistent time I show up, and if people need me to show up early, guess what? I show up early. So be consistent, even if you're not in EMS right now. Some places they start you out as a driver while you're going through EMT school, so you get your feet wet, you get used to operation stuff and whatnot. But be consistent because that is something we preach reputation all the time. That is part of the reputation that will follow you everywhere.
Well, and part of consistency, again, whether you're a driver, whether you're let's say an EMR, because there are certain parts of the country that still use EMRs, whatever. Let's say you work at a grocery store, it does not matter. The big thing is also consistency of cleaning your workspace, throwing away your trash, being reliable, like checking your equipment. Both of us worked at a grocery store, check your receipt paper, make sure that you're not going to run out, or if you do, you have extra so you don't have to like leave, go dig for it in the supply closet and then come back. Like it is consistency of your habits, but also who you are as a person. Like you have to, even if you're having a bad day, you have to be able to have emotional regulation to the point that you can consistently be a decent human being instead of being run by your emotions and like be happy one day and then walk in and be a total shitbag. Like it you don't want your partners and your coworkers and stuff being like, "Oh my god, what version of Daniel am I going to get today? Is he going to be awesome or is he going to be a complete asshat?"
Yeah. Both of those variations have been known to happen, but
What with you?
Yeah. Well, my road rage used to be pathological.
I
They
was
used
just
to
saying
stick.
something because it's pretty bad now.
Oh no! Oh no! No! No!
That's
No!
why I'm saying.
Oh no! 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 Like we'd be responding code. I think this is half the problem. Where every call we went to, even if it was a toe pain, we had to respond emergent. Which, thank
Yeah, that
God,
was
that
irritating as
that is
shit.
breaking. But
Not at every service.
well, I know. Anyway, but they'd stick new people with me, and we'd be going to a call, and I'd just be chit chatting, whatever, and then I would be losing my ever loving shit at a driver, like throwing fucking gang signs and whatnot, figuratively speaking, with my hands, bouncing up and down my seat, yelling, and then like suddenly just go back to carry on conversation. And the student was like, or the new person was like, "Are you okay?"
Dude,
I
I
was like,
can't
"Yeah, I'm fine. It's a fine."
listen, I can't tell you how many partners I had that like knew who you were that I'd be like, "Oh yeah, Daniel's my husband." And they're like, "What? Does he does he still have road rage?" And I'm like,
What? I didn't hear about that.
Yeah, oh yeah. Yeah.
You need to tell me more about this offline.
There's been a few of them that were like, "Has he gotten better?" And I was like, "I mean, relatively speaking." And they're like, "No, you don't understand." I'm like, "Oh,
Yeah, no,
um,
it's bad. But yeah, try to be consistent, and you're gonna have lots of ups and downs. This is a very demanding job. This is a job that you will hate it some days and hate it less others. But be consistent. Show up. Do your job. Have rituals. Rituals are literally the best thing to help keep you sane. And I say rituals. Be reasonable. Be reasonable, and don't impose things on other people. I used to have a ritual of checking off my truck. So, a previous agency where I worked, every single truck was completely identical.
mhm.
And I worked at that service.
It made checkoff so much easier.
Oh, it was great.
So easy.
I was at that service for close to 5 years. That was the biggest solid chunk of my career at a one place. And I just had a ritual where I had a wireless, one of those JBL speakers, and I had a set playlist. I actually listened to different music at work than not at work, and I was known for, just blaring the music and going and checking off the truck. If you wanted to come help me check it off, cool. If you didn't, cool. I didn't give a shit.
He also had different smelly products for work too.
Yes.
Like he was
yes.
a literal different person at work.
Yeah, but it was a ritual, so I didn't mind it. It didn't matter what truck I was coming into. I would get back there, I would do it, I would knock it out. If my partner wanted to help, cool. If they wanted to sit back there and jam out with me, cool. We had a great time. We started off with high energy, and it made the day go by so much better. So whatever the little things are, and you don't have to be working in EMS to start this. Find rituals throughout your day, and those rituals will become part of who you are and actually positively help your mental health with it.
Ritual or superstition? Because like I'm pretty well convinced going into a 24-hour shift, if before, so our shift time starts at 7 a.m. I'm convinced that if I don't get there by 6:45, bring in all of my stuff and make my bed before I check off my truck, I'm gonna have a shit shift. Mind you, I'm a black cloud, so it matters. It really matters. But with consistency, if I don't check off my bags the same way, I literally feel off. Like it I know I'm OCD, but it goes along with consistency that you're talking about, Linda.
Yeah, yeah. Now, the other thing of work advice, and this is one that, well, let's say the next thing. The next thing is be friendly with everybody, but only friends with a few. And this is not to create paranoia because, but I think this is good life advice in general.
Yes.
You should be friendly with everybody. You should be default pleasant and kind. That should be your general operating disposition. And even if you have to fake it some days, it's fine. It's okay. We all have to fake something someday. Might as well fake being a good person. I mean, it sounds horrible, but it's true. Like if you internally just want to burn everything down, well, being that person is not going to go very well. So if you have to pick something to fake, might as well fake being a decent, kind person for the day.
Listen, it's fun. It's funny that you say that about burning things down because there was, I think it was a week, maybe 2 weeks ago. I was joking with one of my like big bosses. I was like, listen, I'm trying so hard not to cry. He was like, haha, if you cry, I'm just gonna say there because I don't know how to help you. Just like tap you on the shoulder. And I was like, it's fine. Just so you know, I cry when I'm mad because I know that like murder/violence is wrong. And we had like a couple other sentences or something. And he was like, okay, well, don't cry today. I said, it's fine. If you see me crying, just know I made a decision. I made a choice. He's like, I'm very proud of your choice. There. I was like, ah.
Well, and
so don't burn down the world.
Yeah. And the crux of this too, and again, this is something that is just general life advice. Not everybody who acts like your friend is your friend. I, without going into the gratuitous details, recently had a friend, someone who I had known for almost a decade, who decided to betray some confidence. And it wouldn't have even bothered me so much if they'd at least have had the balls to tell me to my face. But I was not afforded that opportunity. This is someone who I would share secrets with that I expected to be taken to the grave, and that I knew secrets about that I would take to the grave. So, and it's not to say that everybody in EMS is a scumbag, but there's a there's a couple of common threads in EMS. One, there are a lot of people in EMS who are generally narcissistic, and I hate using that word because it's so fucking abused. Yep. But there are a lot of very self-centered people. We'll go with that. That's a little more, straightforward. There's also a lot of people that want to set themselves up for promotions, and they will step on your necks to do that. So
even if it's stepping on a friend.
Yeah, and so it's like I said, be friendly with everybody. Don't go around treating everybody like they're your enemy,
Mhm.
because that's going to create a whole nother set of problems for you.
Mhm.
It's better to be friendly, but be cautious
Mhm.
and be a little more low key about it sometimes.
Mhm. Well, and something else that I mean, I guess you could say this kind of brings to light and stuff and such, but it's very true. Be careful what you share with other people. And I mean that very generally speaking, not just at work. I mean, you could work at a grocery store, you could work at a trucking company, it could be your friends, generally speaking. And again, not to sound paranoid, but be careful what you share. If you're sharing something that you wouldn't want anybody in the world to possibly hear, then maybe you should get to know the person more. And I mean, being friends with somebody for 10 years, you expect that to persist,
Hmm.
but it's also going to depend on the situation and what, said person's long-term goals are. If it's a promotion, then there might not be committed loyalty at that point. But if it's somebody that you met like a week ago and you're telling them your deepest, darkest secrets because you trauma bonded over, a
Yeah.
traumatic call or whatever, if you're telling them something that you wouldn't want your supervisor or someone else to know, I would strongly advise caution to not tell them that yet. You should only be sharing I share things with certain classes for examples, and it's stuff that we've shared on the podcast. It's stuff that I would happily share with literally anybody because I own, certain aspects of my past, mistakes on calls, etc., because I'm not perfect, but I'm only sharing with you in theory, you guys, what I'm comfortable with everybody knowing.
Well, and you brought up a good point, because I reference narcissistic slash self-absorbed people, the people searching for promotions. There's also a lot of people that are not malicious, but they trauma bond too easily,
Mhm.
and they will become your best friend overnight. And then in a week, a month, a year, suddenly, oh, the honeymoon phase of friendship is gone,
Mhm.
and they're stabbing you in the back,
Mhm.
or they're mad at you over something, or they're accusing you of something, or what the fuck ever.
Mhm.
There's a lot of emotional instability amongst EMS, which is part of mental health, which is something else that needs to be addressed. But it is an unfortunate fact of the environment that, because of the high stakes of what we do as a profession, people do tend to trauma bond a lot more and cause
Well,
a lot of those kinds of problems.
it's not something this is just kind of coming to me. It's not something that is readily talked about, but generally speaking, in public service as a whole, we're some nosy fuckers.
Hmm.
Because I mean, think about it. You'll go out for somebody with like the most random complaint, and then they're telling you about how they're cheating on their spouse, or their spouse is in prison for like diddling kids or some shit. I have had that happen, and I was like, what the fuck? Like, we're some nosy fuckers, and a lot of times, not always, but a lot of times, it's information that we genuinely need to ask more, and then we go to, Daniel, our spouse, our friends, whatever, hopefully HIPAA compliant, and go, holy fuck, guess what this person randomly told me. So like, we're naturally professionally nosy. Well, there's a lot of people within EMS that like drama. They literally
No,
feed on but it's not
never.
shut up. But it's not, and honestly, it's not just public service. I mean, I have heard it from so many people who are in other fields not even related to medicine, that they're like, holy fuck, it's the same thing. So like, you're gonna have the chatty Catholics.
Chatty catheter.
I mean that too. I mean, they really, I mean, they're up people's recruiters sometimes too. Like it, I mean, it happens. Leave me alone.
You look like a douche canoe.
Oh my god. Pure wick. Anyways, um,
Listen, okay. We may have mentioned this before, but the first time I ever saw a Pure Wick, for you poor unfortunate souls that know what they are, no one warned me. Okay. So I had worked at this one hospital service that did, true interfacility, true critical care stuff, so on and so forth.
mm,
And I had worked there during COVID. I left for a year and I came back. And when I came back, I remember very distinctly the first time I went up to the floor to pick up a patient, and the nurse just pulls out this blue and white thing from between their legs, and I'm like, whoa, whoa,
that's a huge
what the
tampon.
fuck was that?
It's
And
a,
I couldn't bring myself to say anything. I was like, I'm missing something here, but we're just going to talk about this later. And then when someone explained to me what it was, I was like, oh, so that's a new thing. Okay, cool.
It's a
Cool.
tampon with suction. Listen, my favorite part about teaching at the previous program with paramedic school is there was a group of students that somehow swiped like a whole fucking box from the hospital. So that was their emotional support PureWix.
Oh my God.
They were fucking clean, okay? They were clean. They were in packaging, but they brought them to
Okay.
paramedic school and they were literally like sitting on their desk and they would hold them like, it's my emotional support
Oh my
PureWix.
God.
And then at one point they threw them up in the ceiling and they fucking stuck in the ceiling. And I was like, why do we have like raining PureWix? They were clean. They weren't
It's
discolored.
raining pure wicks from out of the sky.
Oh my
Pure wicks.
I feel
All
like
the cooters are dry.
Daniel warning. Well, if you take the pure wick, they're no longer
No,
dry.
no, 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 no.
For the record, water's not wet. Okay, we totally sidestepped.
Yes, anyway.
Point being.
Anyway.
Point being.
So be friendly with people, but not with everybody, especially if they're handing you a pure wick, please.
I don't know. That class sure liked to share their pure wick.
Anyway, so
some people just like drama. They share drama because they like drama.
The
And
drama
listen,
llamas.
well, listen, yes. No, I'm not going to do it. It's fine.
Carl, that kills people.
Oh my God, that's not what I meant. Don't get me wrong. Daniel and I will listen to the tea all fucking day, but you will not catch us. I mean, he's my tea buddy. However, you will not catch us sharing the tea. Well, there are some people,
especially not now.
literally, but there are some people that will literally not just spread the tea amongst your service. They will tell every the fuck buddy that will listen at every other service, even if it causes conflict amongst the services. It's everywhere. So be friendly, but don't share your secrets. You need
yeah, I know. I'm behaving.
I wasn't talking about you. I meant they need to just.
Oh, well, that too. Yeah, all the above. So.
You brought.
I'm gonna sing that jingle again.
Please don't. Please don't. Okay, next.
So the third piece of work advice is respect the chain of command, but don't let it become a stick to beat you with. Now, this gets a little funny. So
it's hairy.
So chain of command is a very purposeful thing, and it is to be respected because it does preserve order within an agency. You have a right and a wrong way to do things. You have the right and wrong people to go through for certain things. Now, yes, chain of command is important, but it is not a justification to treat people like shit. Unfortunately, some places use it as such. And this is where it's important for you to realize that just because we act paramilitary, we are not. The employer-employee relationship is an at-will relationship. And yes, it is important to have order, especially in a larger organization. But when you use the chain of command to shield you from accountability or to shit on people, that's not okay either. And the beautiful thing about the chain of command is when at least one end of it is treating it appropriately, violations on the in-between can be fucking handled.
Yes.
It's when the entire chain is fucked that you can't really do shit and you should just need to leave. But it is a very powerful tool. And this is something that I have kind of gone back and forth on over the years as far as my relationship with supervisors, either my own or just others at the agencies where I work. I'm a firm believer in being jovial, being lighthearted, being able to joke, as are most of us in EMS. In most places, the supervisors don't have sticks up their asses, and you can joke with each other, poke fun at each other, whatnot. Some of them take it a little bit too seriously, and typically what I've seen is the people that take it too seriously are the ones who are insecure and who feel like everything is a threat to them. And that is the surest way to threaten your position. Because it's just like in, relationships. If you're constantly worried that the other person's going to fuck you over, okay, probably it's going to happen. because you're literally wishing that shit. I'm talking in general, like, what? You know it's true. We've all seen it to people. People who literally thrive on this victim mentality. It's like, oh, well, everybody else has fucked me over. This person's going to do it. They're going to do it eventually. It's a confirmation bias. You're going to find something that that eventually is going to be them like being shitty to you or whatnot.
I feel like there's a gradient there.
There is. That's not a universal statement.
Okay,
But
just as long as we establish there's a gradient, because like the fact that I was, abused, raped, like all of the things
no,
previously, and there's a certain level of trauma there. It doesn't mean that I'm wishing it on you. Like,
no, no, no,
let's
no, 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 no,
clarify.
no, 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 no,
Okay,
no, no. But in general, what do we see with law of attract? A law of attraction cuts both ways,
it does,
and
and I mean
people.
the victim mentality definitely is an issue, but there's a gradient.
But it's this. If you're constantly looking for it, then it's probably going to happen to you. I mean, really, and again, that's a very generic, it's a very broad statement, and you can obviously find exceptions to it. But in the context of leadership, especially,
Hmm.
if you're looking for everything to be a threat to you, eventually your leadership is going to be threatened because you will create conflicts that don't need to happen. And when you
Hmm.
polarize people like that, when you galvanize them, then yes, they are going to come after you. They are going to say, fuck you, because you put them in a situation where they didn't have a choice. If you take people that genuinely care about their job, that treat you with respect, that are good workers, that care about their patients, that care about being a good team member, and you fuck with them enough, they're going to turn against you. And yes, you are literally wishing your way into failed leadership.
Well, and I feel like that if you're one of those leaders that you have to say, follow the chain of command and you will respect me because of X, Y,
Respect
Z.
my authority.
But I mean, literally, like
Mhm.
the more times you tell me that I have to respect you and follow your chain of command, and you're not like showing adequate leadership, the more I'm gonna be like, but what is there?
Well, and just like you and I talked about in relationships, if if I have to come in and say, I'm the husband, you're going to respect my decision. Okay.
It's
The
kind of
respect just went, "Meow."
well, it's kind of like when you tell me that I'm getting worked up and I need to calm down. Am I really gonna calm down? No, it's gonna turn into a fiery tornado. Everything's gonna get burned down. It's not gonna be calm.
Apples and oranges comparison there, but okay.
I'm gonna calmly burn everything down. Your red beard is
but
about to
it's
get
not
redder.
but it's not I'm asserting my authority, you will respect it no matter
Yeah.
what. That's a different thing.
Oh, agreed. I was just
So
teasing you.
I know you are. So, but it's true. But when you have a relationship where that trust and that respect is earned,
Hmm.
and it is earned through action, not through fiat, then okay, you have a different relationship. And guess what? Those supervisors are the best
Hmm.
because it's just like a parent. Like our kids love us,
Hmm.
but they also respect the fuck out of us because they know that we are going to do right by them, but we are also going to hold them accountable when push comes to shove. Same thing with leadership is you should hi noodle. You do not need to mess with the soundboard. Thank you, sir. Um, you don't need to shove your authority in people's face. They should see it in how you carry yourself, how you comport yourself as a leader. So, to circle back to the point, respect the chain of command, but you can respect the chain of command itself. It's kind of the expression respect the office, not the man. That was something I heard growing up all the time, especially referring to elected officials.
Especially the president right now, because a lot of
Well,
people are wanting to fight about
yeah,
it.
and without getting into politics as much as I do in my off time, there's I can respect someone who is my supervisor without respecting them as a person, and I have no problem saying that
Hmm.
because there are times where behaviors that are unbecoming of a supervisor need to be addressed, need to be
Challenged.
challenged, and that's where you should be. If you're picking the right battles, the chain of command works in your favor
Hmm.
because you're demonstrating where their behavior, their actions are causing problems and actually violating the trust that is supposed to be part of the chain of command.
Well, and something too that I think is a great area, literally talking about all this, is there's a time and a place to pull out, over friends. Like, we can't be in this job without becoming, friendly, you know, based on our previous conversation about friends, friendly with our supervisors. Like, it as an instructor, there's often times where literally between like caring about the students and hearing about their lives and knowing that people are going through hardships and everything, it's hard to not care. It's not like I'm caring about them that they're now my best friend and I'm going to commit until I'm dead and like they're in my life and blah blah blah. Like, it is something that comes and goes sometimes, and then they kind of stick around. But when you become so close with somebody and sharing secrets and asking for advice, especially new into the field, especially if you have, stuff going on in your personal life that you need advice, it's hard to not get really personal. But where there comes into a problem is you start confusing the like friendship as an excuse to circumvent chain of command, or you think that you can talk to said person however the fuck you want when it suits you. And like, I've run into this a few times where, as either an adjunct, an instructor, whatever, we're getting, really personal with these, I say kids, but these people going through school,
The children.
and the children. And there comes a time where they're really frustrated and they decide to talk to you like you're a raging piece of shit. And like, I'm not one to pull rank, but it's like there comes a certain point where it's like, I know I've been there for you when you're having a shit time, but like, I'm still your superior. I'm still your instructor. And not even as chain of command, but if I treat you with respect, I expect you to respect me back, regardless of whether you're above me, below me, etc. Like, if you want to be talked to with respect, you have to give at least respectful communication, even if you don't respect me for XYZ. Let's say I'm the biggest shitbag in the world. But if you want to have the higher ground, be, on the high horse, what the fuck ever. Have the high ground, Anakin. Sorry.
It's over, Anakin.
I'm
I
sorry.
have the high ground.
I'm sorry, I couldn't help it.
Got to do the quote properly.
What the fuck ever. You have to speak respectfully and like us being friendly. So it's kind of the same thing. We're friendly with a good number of our supervisors, and I may tell them in private, on the clock or off the clock, but in private, I may tell them, dude, you did not talk to me respectfully on that call. Like, you were an absolute shitbag. Let's work this out. But in fucking public, even if they're chewing my ass, I'm still going to treat you with respect, because I'm not going to say, oh, we're best friends. We talk about stuff. I was at your kid's birthday party. So I'm going to chew your ass in front of the entire service, because then you're literally shitting all over chain of command, and it's just not going to work. There has to be an understanding that we're not going to circumvent chain of command. Like, I work at two different places right now, and we collectively work together. But if I'm at one service acting in one particular role and something happens, and I know that it can be handled on both sides, I'm not going to circumvent the chain of command. I'm going to bring it to my direct command at the place that I was working at the time and leave it be at the other location. Yeah, it gets kind of hairy occasionally, but like, truly following chain of command is not only going to protect you, it's going to give support, and they're going to trust you with what you say. And it's not going to look like you're saying, ha, fuck you, I don't respect your authority over me, so I'm going to circumvent you and go to this other place to handle it on the other side. Like, that's just not okay.
If you enjoyed this episode, be sure to follow us on YouTube at Paramedic AF, or you can subscribe on Apple Podcasts and Spotify at the Paramedic AF Show. You can catch up on the Daily Debrief, kind of a sub-show within the Paramedic AF Show, or you can watch our full-length episodes, including interviews and discussions on leadership, culture, personal wellness, mental health, everything related to daily life in EMS. Make sure you hit like and subscribe.